Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we are discussing the recent debate over proposed constitutional carry handbill in Nebraska. This bill, also known as LB 77, would allow adults to carry a concealed weapon without a state permit or safety training. While proponents of gun rights argue that the bill would allow law-abiding citizens to exercise their constitutional rights, opponents argue that it would increase gun-related deaths and normalize the proliferation of firearms. On day 2 of the debate, senators in favor of the bill argued that LB 77 would not impact the purchase of guns or the proliferation of firearms in the U.S. Instead, it would allow law-abiding citizens to exercise their constitutional rights. They also argued that more laws would not necessarily result in less crime, and that the key to stopping school shootings is to harden the target so that armed cowards can't force their way in. Opponents of the bill argue that expanding gun rights would lead to more guns and an increase in violent crimes and suicides. I believe it would result in less. They point to statistics that show that firearms are the leading cause of death for children up to age 19, and that firearm suicides have risen by 66% in the past decade among youth, in part because guns are so accessible and aren't securely stored. Proponents of LB 77 argue that it would not change the requirement that Nebraskans obtain a state handgun buyer's permit and undergo a criminal background check before able to buy a handgun. They also argue that open carry is already legal in Nebraska, and the bill would simply make it legal to carry a concealed weapon as well. Go figure. Opponents of the bill also point to the fact that the bill would nullify current gun control ordinances in Omaha and Lincoln, which is why police chiefs in the cities are opposed to it. Supporters of the bill argue that nullifying these ordinances would prevent police from disproportionately stopping African American and Latino youth and bumping up penalties against them. Well, we all got to protect ourselves. While proponents of gun rights argue that LB 77 would allow law-abiding citizens to exercise their constitutional rights, opponents argue that it would increase gun-related deaths and normalize the proliferation of firearms. Both sides have valid arguments, and the debate will likely continue for some time. It's up to you to decide where you stand on this issue. I sure want to be able to protect myself. Here are some of the pros. LB 77 would allow law-abiding citizens to exercise their constitutional rights to carry concealed weapons. Number 2, the bill would not impact the purchase of guns or the proliferation of firearms in the U.S. Supporters argue that more laws would not necessarily result in less crime. The key to stopping school shootings is to harden a target so that armed cowards can't force their way in. I agree. The cons, though, they all want us to believe that it's the gun's fault. I highly disagree. Opponents argue that expanding gun rights would lead to more guns and an increase in violent crime and suicides. Well, everything's a double-bladed sword, right? Firearms are the leading cause of death for children up to age 19. Firearm suicides have risen by 66% in the past decade among youth. It's part because guns are so accessible and aren't securely stored. Well, we can fix that. Police chiefs in Omaha and Lincoln are opposed to this bill because it would nullify current gun control ordinance there. They're afraid to lose control. Where do you draw the line between exercising your constitutional rights and ensuring public safety? I think a law-abiding man should be able to carry to protect himself and the people around him. That's that.